Hey, have you ever wondered how Dan Bilzerian affords that lavish lifestyle that he fronts on Instagram? Well, his company just released their financial report, and I've read through the entire thing, and you would be amazed to see how much money Dan is skimming from this company. I'm going to break it all down for you in this video, so stay tuned. Here we go. Alright guys, so if you haven't heard of Dan Bilzerian before, he's basically that Instagram rich kid that is promoting himself by flaunting himself in luxury cars, nice fancy yachts, out with lots of girls, and traveling the islands. On his hustle and what he does for business is he runs a company called Ignite Cannabis. Now this company is publicly traded on the Canadian Stock Exchange under the ticker symbol BILZ on the Canadian Stock Exchange. So you can invest into it, and he's been raising a bunch of money, and he's been getting a lot of people to invest in it through his social media, through buying his products, through a lot of different ways. But people are putting money into this company, and I'm a little bit worried about it because he promotes this lavish lifestyle that I think is coming from the company, and today I found out it's true. So we are going to break down the financials, and I'm going to show you what the real numbers are. We're going to dive into it. So let me show you his company first. Here's what my screen looks like. Ignite International Brands Ltd, Bills F, depending on where you are, BILZ if you're in Canada. The company is currently worth $160.945 million. So keep that in mind as we go along. Would you pay $160 million for this company? Let me show you the website right now. So this is the Canadian website. They sell vape carts, flower, and pre-rolls. Nice little consumer website where they sell the product online. Looks pretty okay. When you go to their investor website, it's a little bit disappointing. It's super plain and basic. They don't have very many up-to-date information on here. It doesn't really go into details about the company, and it doesn't give you a whole lot, especially compared to other publicly traded companies. Now, when you click on the About section, the funny thing here is that they lay out their competitive advantage, and they basically say that Dan Bilzerian's popularity and his social media following is going to help us sell product, and that's our competitive advantage, which is not a very good business model. It's pretty shaky, and it's not very good, especially if Dan Bilzerian falls out of favor with the public. So let's see how this proceeds and how this goes as we go along. So they just released their financial results. Now they released it from March 31st. It's currently August 8th. These financial results came out on July 20th. So they are way behind. They filed for a delay on filing for about 45 days because of COVID. So they released these late. I'm very excited to see what the next financial results look like. If you guys are interested in me doing a review on them, click the like button at the end of this video and remember to subscribe. But let's get into the financials right now. So if you just go to cdar.com, you type in Ignite, you can actually see all of this information. It's completely public and easy to find. Now when we go to it, here is the report. So as you scroll down, Ignite International Brands, BILZ on the CSE, BILZF on the OTCQX. So depending on what market you're on, it's a different ticker. December or filed ended March 31st. So here we go. First thing that's going to be on here is the balance sheet. Now, as you can see, company has just under $6 million in cash. However, as at December 31st, 2019, they actually had 15 million. So they're burning pretty quick. Not a good sign. They have $1 million in receivables, and they have 17 million in current assets, and another good chunks for a total of 31 million. 500,000 in assets. Sounds pretty good until you start looking at their liabilities, where their total liabilities are $33 million. So you can already see they have more liabilities than they do assets. Not a good sign. They also have $4 million in current accounts payable, which would wipe out about 2/3 of their cash reserve. And they have a note payable and short-term lease obligations, and I know that they're paying 6 to 10% because I read those contracts. So not a good interest rate, terrible interest rate actually, especially for a business loan, and not a good sign off the bat here. So not a ton of assets in comparison to their liabilities, not a ton of cash in comparison to their current liabilities either. So not a good position when we look at the balance sheet. Now, when we look at the income statement, it's also not very good. For the 3-month period ended March 31st, they did $1.7 million. However, for the period ended March 31st last year, they did 1.524. So they only improved this by like 10-15%. Not a drastic increase at all, especially when we're talking about a cannabis industry that just come online, has tons of new opportunities, and is growing exponentially. These guys are growing at like 10 or 15%. It's absolutely pathetic. And when you look at the rest of the income statement, it's even worse. So they had over $1 million in expenses, leaving them with $600,000 in gross profit. And when you look at their operating expenses, it was over $8 million. They brought in $1.7 million And they spent $8 million just in operating expenses, in marketing and salaries and all the crap that comes with running a business to bring in 1.7. Like, it's absolutely terrible ratios. You would never want to see that in a business, and I would never want to invest in something like this. To justify these numbers, you would have to be able to say, we're the next Amazon. And I can tell you right now, Dan Bilzerian is not the next Amazon. So when we finish this income statement, you can see that their net loss on the year was $9 million. Over $9 million they lost trying to bring in $1.7 million in just revenue. They brought in $628,000 in gross profit, and they lost $9 million. This is absolutely terrible. And when you do the math on it, it means that they would need to multiply their revenue by 47 times just to break even at their current expenditures, which, like, at this point it's not going to happen. So I have concerns that they will hit profitability anytime soon without drastically reducing expenses and increasing their revenue. Now, when we talk about expenses, let's talk about where that money's going. Well, $4.8 million is going to general and administrative. Let's see what's in general and administrative. Well, it's going to take in marketing, it's going to take in salaries, it's going to take in legal, it's going to take in everything else that's in there. And one of the things that's in this report that I find really interesting is all of the insider transactions. So when a company releases their financial statements, they also have to release the statement of any inside transactions that have happened during the last year. And this one is really interesting. So it's on page 27 of the report. And when I got to this, I was absolutely mind blown. I just couldn't believe it. And as an investor, especially a young investor, or somebody putting their money in for my personal retirement or for whatever's going on in your life, you look at this and you just go, oh my God, this is a sinking ship. So let me just break it down for you. Related party transactions. So this is anytime a director, a shareholder, a major CEO, anybody on the board of directors has a transaction that involves the company and another company that they're associated with or that they own, because it could be insider trading, it could be insider relationships. This happens a lot in oil and gas, where somebody will give their friend's company a contract and their friend will happen to take them on vacation. Those type of deals happen a lot, and so they have to be disclosed in this report. Now, when you start reading this, your mind goes, holy cow. So the company paid a licensing fee of $92,862 to a company owned by the CEO. You say, okay, it's Dan Bilzerian's name, it's his brand, he started it, whatever, licensing fee, deal with that. It's a $90 million company. What's the $160 million company? Not a huge deal. Dan gets $90 or whatever. Next point, the company made lease payments of $197,000 to a company owned by the CEO. Whoa, Dan, you just got another $200,000 because you happen to own a property? Well, that's kind of nice. You read down a little bit further. This one is the big one. The company reimbursed a total of $1.3 million in Ignite business expenses incurred by the CEO. Dan billed Ignite Cannabis $1.3 million in expenses. They have under $6 million in cash at the current point, and he just billed them $1.3 million. And it gets better. You read on. The company incurred a total of $325,000 in marketing fees from a company owned by the CEO. The company incurred travel expenses of $360,000, $259,000 from a company owned by the CEO. So that's how Dan went on his little yacht trip recently. That's how Dan went on all of those private jet planes. It's because the company's paying for it. And the worst part is the shareholders that he's raising money from, guys like me and whoever else, are giving him money to go live this lavish life that then makes me jealous again. It's like, what the hell is going on? So you read through this and it's like, oh my goodness, that no wonder they have cash flow problems. They're at $6 million in the bank. They were at $15 million like 3 months before that. What the hell happened to it? It's because this is where all the money's going. This is where it's going. It's going to afford and spend on Dan Bilzerian. Just if you add this up alone, just these 3 bullets alone right here is $2 million. 360, 325, and 1.323. That's over $2 million just into Dan's pocket alone. Absolutely amazing. You add the numbers on top of here, you got another 300,000, and then the rest of it is all going to Dan as well. You've got almost $4 million being funneled back into Dan Bilzerian's pocket. And the craziest part is they're reporting it. They're putting it right on paper for everybody to see. Everybody can see this. Anybody can look this up online, and people are still giving him money to go and do this. Like, it's absolutely mind-boggling. And so now the company has $6 million in the bank. They owe $4 million right away. They owe another $4 million in loans, and they owe another $4 million by the end of the year in lease payments. So that's a tough thing to manage, especially when you don't make money already. Not only that, but you can see right here, the company will need to raise capital in order to fund its operations and continue its existing and prospective expansion into strategic markets. So, like, exactly what I said, they're running out of money. They already know it, and now they're going to have to raise more money. So how do you raise more money when you have to publicly state that you just reimbursed your CEO $1.3 million to go on a yacht with a bunch of hot babes? That's a tough sell. So that's all my opinion. Now, the crazy thing here is I'm not the only one that has this opinion. There was somebody else that had this opinion, that told Dan about it, that gave Dan the beacon and the chance to change, the chance to say, you're right, I'm going to do better, I'm going to reduce my expenses, I'm going to improve the income, and I'm going to make a change, and Dan didn't do it. What I mean by that is Dan is now being sued by his old CFO for wrongful termination. The one man that controlled the finances that went to Dan and said, Dan, you can't spend money on a private vault. You can't spend money going on this trip. You can't spend money on these girls because those are personal expenses. He said that to Dan, and it turns out Dan decided to fire him. Now Dan is being sued for a wrongful lawsuit. You can look that up online. Check out TMZ. Check out the court filings. You can find everything on there. But one guy lifted it up and said, Dan, you can't do this. And Dan said, see you later. And now I can't wait for the next quarter of reports. So if you are interested in seeing me break down those next batch of reports, please like, comment, and subscribe below. It sincerely helps me out. And if you are interested in investing, do not put your money into this company. This is the worst company that you could possibly choose. Unless you're going to short sell it, you are going to go short on it, and you're going to hedge your bet, manage your risk in case Dan pulls one out of his butt. But altogether, I would be extremely worried if you had any money in this company. I think you should sell it out right away. And I think if anything happens here, you should short sell it. You should not get into it. And this is a terrible investment, a terrible company, a terrible business. And I think that everything Dan has flaunted online and has shown everybody is a complete lie. So that is my opinion. If I am wrong, let me know in the comments below. And Dan, if you're watching this, man, give me a call. I'm happy to help out. I'll give you some business advice, tell you a little bit about how to turn this around, and hopefully people don't lose their job because of you. So, and all of their money, man. I can't believe how much money you've raised. Don't give them any more money, anybody. Talk to you soon.